This is Religion in the News, sponsored by Wish TV, in cooperation with the Church Federation of Greater Indianapolis.
Good morning, Indianapolis. I'm J.R. Ryder. Welcome to our April edition of Religion in the News. Joining me today is Carol Sissom, Faith James, Lori Cobian, and Maria Pimentel-Gannon. Merlin Gonzalez is off today. We have a great show for you as our guests talk about a support organization for parents with autistic kids. A legendary musician talks about his career, a scholarship dinner for young black men. We have an upcoming worship concert, highlights of a local Christian school, and an attorney gives us some insight on faith-based and legal issues. Also, the Church Federation is here to talk about what's coming up in 2014. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Religion in the News. Again, I'm J.R. Ryder. My guest today is the Executive Director of Autism Asperger's Support, Inc. Welcome, Bernice, to Religion in the News.
Thank you.
Bernice Arnett, you are the Executive Director of this organization. And I know there are many organizations now that are dealing with autistic individuals, and yours is kind of unique in that you have a support group primarily for the parents. Talk to us about how you got involved with this organization.
Actually, I started the organization. I have 2 children on the spectrum. It started out as just a typical support group that met once a week. Then I come to the realization these parents did not have adequate child care, so they quit coming to the groups. So one by one, we started allowing the children to come to the meetings, and we were fortunate enough this year to acquire a 20,000 square foot facility, and we have open Monday through Friday as a play center and support center all in one.
Okay, so with this support group, the support group's for the parents, but you also have a facility where they can bring their children in. Okay, and what type of things go on in the facility?
All the items are geared toward the autism spectrum. We have sensory swings, arts, crafts, learning games, puzzles, a full gymnasium, which is really awesome for these kids. They can just come and be themselves.
Absolutely.
Parents don't have the typical stresses of playgrounds where these children don't typically click with the other children on the playground, so it's a win-win for all.
Now, I know your location is actually in Richmond, Indiana.
Yes.
And you have been getting quite a bit of support for this organization. As a matter of fact, you had an open house last week.
Right.
And I hear that the mayor even...
yes, she attended, which was a total surprise on my part. Our goals and plans are within the next year to add a handicapped outdoor playground. This support group was based off of autism. But don't get me wrong, it's open for any child with a special need.
Just any kind of a special need child.
It's there for everyone.
And I'm sure you probably have a need for volunteers. Talk to us real quickly about that.
Oh, definitely. Volunteers, they keep us going.
Okay.
Just come down and nothing's too small.
Okay. So
the least little bit of help.
Come down and help in the facility and that sort of thing. Now, I want to make sure that we get your contact information up for those who may want to help with volunteer or some additional support, of course, that you may need dealing with autism. But Bernice, I want to thank you for being with us here this morning.
Oh, you're welcome. No, thank you all.
All right, we'll have to come back. All right, thank you. Carol, now to you.
Thank you, JR. Good morning. I am Carol Sissom, and my guest today is a legendary musician, Mr. Tim Wright.
Hi, Carol. Good to be here.
Tim, thank you so very, very much. I know today we're going to be talking about this wonderful book that you wrote, Not the Destination, but you're kind of a hero in the music business because you are a part of the Wright Brothers Band and kind of an ordinary guy living in Indiana, but you have quite a career. Can you tell us just a little bit about your book and that big career of yours that started in what, 1971?
1971. My brother was in the National Guard, and he asked me to come and substitute for him while he was playing a local restaurant called the Stable Influence. And I subbed for him those 2 weeks. He was out on his National Guard duty, and I just never left. I just stayed there, and we formed a band. So this was no plan on our part. And 41 years later, we're still performing as a band, the Wright Brothers. So.
Now, I know we have several pictures, one with you with Dolly Parton, and you were on a movie with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. Tell us about your movie career.
It's short-lived. It wasn't much of a stretch for us because we performed as a band in a bar, playing Gin Dandy to the Rescue and a couple other cover songs. And we had a manager who was friends with the director of the movie, Gary Marshall, and they were in the Korean War together, and he got Gary out of carrying a rifle, so he was returning the favor, 25 years later, having us in this film, playing a couple songs and being in a couple of the scenes. That's all. But it's fun.
Now you've recorded albums and a lot of CDs. Tell me about the hits.
Well, we did. That's just it. We avoided having hits as good as possible. My brother says we've clawed our way to the middle of show business, and we just clung to that. But no, we had 9 songs that charted in Billboard's charts in the 80s, in the mid 80s, and we were on 2 major labels, and soundtrack for the movie Overboard. But we found ourselves not having the huge success like Alabama or the Oak Ridge Boys or those kind of bands. So for whatever reason, we're right here, and who knows? But we're just still enjoying playing, and certain doors were closed, certain doors are open.
That's awesome. Now, I know we don't have a lot of time, but you are going to play an Easter song for us.
I think it's a good Easter
song. And give us a taste of this music.
Once upon a time, on a hill far away, an unfair proposition before a righteous man was made. He could have changed the situation, but instead chose to obey at the great exchange. An eternity he traveled to be there at that place, the chosen destination to show mankind God's grace.
Welcome back to Religion in the News. My guests today are Executive Director of 100 Black Men of Indianapolis, Ante Johnson, and Botillion military participant Joshua Hill. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
So Ante, tell our viewers real quick a little bit about 100 Black Men.
100 Black Men is an organization that has been here in Central Indiana for 30 years. This is our 30th year, so we're very excited about mentoring, educating, and teaching leadership skills to youth in the community.
Okay, great. So in honor of your 30 years of service in Indianapolis, Indiana, you have an event coming up, and it's not a cotillion, but it's a botillion,
yes,
which is the reason why Joshua is here. So Joshua, you tell us about the botillion experience and how you became a part of that.
This experience so far, it's been great. We've been getting mentorship on becoming a man and entering manhood. We get college advice and everything. So basically, we have our botillion dinner coming up, and it's basically in recognition of all of us and our achievements this year.
Okay, so now, unlike a prom, though, you guys are going to be dressed up. You have to rehearse. You're going to rehearsal after you leave, yes, and you're going to wear tux and a tail. So how do you feel about putting on a tuxedo with tails and not, the normal suit jacket and, nice shoes?
I'm excited. It's going to be an experience to where we get to dress up as best as we can to present ourselves to our families and our friends about us becoming a man.
Okay, now I'll tell you that now, I heard too that he's going to receive a scholarship as well in your program?
Yes, so the last 5 years we've gifted over $500,000 in scholarships to our participants.
$500,000. So is that just basically through sponsorships, through people just sowing seeds into your organization?
A combination of both.
Okay. Now when is the actual botillion? What is the date of the botillion?
It's April 12th, next Saturday at 6 p.m. at the JW Marriott.
Okay. Now Joshua may be a little bit too old, but I think I might come and dance the night away with you. You got a date?
No, I don't have a date.
You don't? Oh, okay. Looks good. All right. So that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for coming. Congratulations on your sponsorship. Back to you, Carol.
Thank you, Faith. Good morning. I'm Carol Sissom. My guests today are here to talk about Caritas Worship event coming up very soon. Hello, Zach. Francis.
Yes.
Tell us about this event. I know you were on our show last year talking about this big event.
Yes.
And it's so involved with the children. Please tell us about it.
Well, it's Caritas Worship and Arts Conference. We have it yearly, the first Saturday in May, and there is actually arts workshops in theater, dance, literary, just all kinds of art. And we have instructors from as far away as Nevada coming up to teach these various art forms, professionals to teach Christians how to use their art for evangelism in the community.
Now tell us how this started. I know it grew each year and it became very big.
Yeah, well, Caritas actually is a worship conference, worship and arts conference that is in Chicago every year. And when we went up there, and I went for the first time, I was just amazed at seeing everybody doing all these art forms at the same time. People dancing, while people waving flags, while people drawing, and just people just connecting with God in their own personal way and not the way they're used to in a church format. And I found that I had a connection with the Holy Spirit there that I never had anywhere else, and I wanted to bring that to Indianapolis. And so we just started talking to some of the instructors up in Chicago, and that's how it started, and it's just grown every year. I think this year we have probably around 25 workshops.
Now, tell us about costs and expense and parking.
The cost is about it's at Overcoming. It's going to be at Overcoming Church, $40 until the 15th. Then after that, it cost increases to $50. There is a group rate of $30 if they can get in early enough, and it's an all-day event.
Now, what about scholarships or anything like that? Do you have anyone that might be able to contact you if they need help with transportation or anything? Do you have contact information?
Yeah, we do have contact information. You could reach my wife, Susanna, at area code 317-670-8008. We do have volunteers that we need, and there is a reduced cost for that as well.
Now, could you explain to me just a little bit about the gift of art and about how your views on that, because I just think it's fascinating.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, so many people, I believe, in the church, you know, they have art, but they don't feel like they can use it to help the community. You know, if you're a chalk drawer, how do you use that? How do you use that to display Christ's love? How do you be a light with that? They think, well, no, that's just a hobby. But God can use that. I mean, there are people that can be reached with chalk drawing or jewelry making or singing or dancing that people don't realize.
Thank you so very, very much.
Yes.
Back to you.
Thank you, Carol. Good morning. I'm Lori Cobian. Coming up next, my guest educates us on Suburban Christian School. Stay tuned.